I need a reaction if you can see my screen, please. Kindly react if you can see my screen, please. I need an emoji if you can see my screen, please. Please just go back to the page and click on live. You will see my screen. Please drop a comment in the comment section if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you. All right, two people can see my screen. Please, guys, let's wait for Sandra to join. All right, thank you very much. So let's proceed. Now, the problem statement is also it is an important or a key aspect of your design, right? You have to understand what problem you're trying to solve, what's the existing problem, how do you intend to solve the problem. So probably you are trying to create a feeling of excitement, right? You're trying to create a feeling of excitement. Why? Because a child is celebrating his or her birthday. And like I mentioned earlier, once that comes to your mind, you also think of what design elements to pick in order for you to be able to convey that message. Now, I'd like to say this. Your in a case of, because the design briefs is not they are not the same across board, what you are designing will always determine what the content of your design brief will be. Yes, there are some things that are constant, however there are some that change. So in a case where you are creating a brand identity for a business, right, you have to look at the competitors of those business. So you have to look at what they did right and what they did wrong. Now, when you see what they did right, you try to not copy. Remember what we talk about, the difference between inspiration and copying. So you don't try to copy them, but you look at what they do in order to gain inspiration so you can come up with something better. The next thing you do is to look at what they did not do, right? When you look at what they did not do, then you will now be able to know what you are supposed to do in order to fill in that gap they have left. So the kind of design piece you're trying to create will often determine what your design brief will look like. So in a case where you're creating a brand identity, there will obviously be a space for the competitors, what they did right and what they did not do right, or what they did wrong, and that will come as a result of what you making your research. So it's called the competitor analysis. You have to do your background check. You go online, you do some research about your competitors, and then from there you'll be able to take it up from there. Now the next thing is your your time frame, right? You have to decide, or you have to include the time frame your design is going to take. Now you're not just writing, it will take me 5 days to create this design piece, it will take me 2 hours, it will take me, no, you have to break the tasks involved into pieces, into chunks. Okay, from day one to day two, I will look at my design brief, try to digest the design brief, understand the design brief, and then come up with concept that I feel will work. Day two, I'm probably going to go online, visit either Pinterest, Behance, or any other platform where you can get design inspiration. I'm going to create a mood board. Now there's something we call mood board. What is a mood board? A mood board is a board where you keep all the inspirations you have gotten. So if you're doing a background check, or you're trying to create a banner or a wedding card, and you have decided to go online to see what other people have done in order to gain inspiration. Now, your brain may not be able to carry every single thing you have seen, your eyes have seen. And at the same time, you, on the other hand, may not be able to save all of those things on your phone, probably your drive or whatever. So you can decide to create an online board, which is what we refer to as the mood board. You just gather all of those inspirations there. Oh, I see this, I love the color they use and it aligns with the color I want to use. We're talking green here, and I love the way these people use their green. You now screenshot, or you download, or you save that very design piece into your mood board, or on your mood board. Now you look at the typography and you're like, okay, I was actually thinking of using Inter because it is one typography or one typeface that is used to communicate cleanliness. So I'm going to use Inter, and I love the way these people use or position their Inter, and they used it alongside a kind of serif font just for the headings. So the blend is nice. I want to see how I can also curate something like this. Now you can go ahead and save it on your mood board. The third thing is probably the way their layout is. Okay, I'm doing a corporate design and I love the way these people just did their layout. Okay, let me see. You pick it up, you drop it there. Their elements of design, the picture they use. Okay, I love this particular picture they use. Obviously, I'm not going to copy because we are against copying, right? By all means, we are against copying. We don't encourage anybody to copy anybody's design, but you're trying to get inspiration. So you're looking at the design, the picture they use, or the image they use on their design. You're like, okay, this is conveying the kind of message I want, or I will want my own image to convey. So let me save it, and then I'll go and look for something similar or come up with something similar. Now you push all of those things into your mood board, and then you keep them there. So when you want to start creating your design, that's for day two now. For day two now, you have done that. For day three now, you can start coming up with concepts. So there should be a breakdown. You're not just giving a time frame saying this design will take me 1 month. No, in your design brief, there should be a clear breakdown of how you intend to achieve your design within that time frame. Whatever you're going to do at every point in time, let it be included in your design. That will help keep you on track and also help you do the right thing. Right thing in the sense that when you know that today you're supposed to create a mood board, you will not want to sit down. You will not want to relax, right? You can see example here. Like here, I say, okay, timeline now. Research and planning for week 1, right? Design concept week 1 to 2 may take, okay, sorry. Research and planning might take 1 week. Design concept, coming up with a very good design concept might take 1 to 2 weeks, depending. And then your final design might take 2 weeks. And then your review might take another week. So that's how it works. It should be a time frame, agreed. However, that time frame should not be a lump time frame, right? You don't just put it as a single time frame or as a single time. You just say, okay, I'll finish up in 1 month. You might probably tell your client that, but it's not always advisable. You're supposed to have it clearly stated or written on your brief, and you don't just write it like that. You break it down. Week 1, this is what I intend doing, or within 1 month I intend doing this. The next month, or my design will take me, my research will take me 1 to 2 weeks, just as is indicated here on the design brief we have. From there, my mood board creation might take this. Don't, if it's also part of the research phase. So you just have to break it down for clarity's sake, and also for you to remain on track. So you can see how a design brief helps inform the designer's decision. It helps you decide what color to use. It helps you decide what layout to use. It helps you decide how to utilize your time. It also helps you decide what your overall design direction should take. So it is a key element, a very, very important element of design. After you have signed your design contract, because there's always a contract, right, between a designer and his or her client. There should always be a contract, even though sometimes we don't take it serious, but it is very, very important. How many times am I going to review this design? Is going to be included on the design contract piece. So you don't keep going back and forth. You do this modification or you make these changes, and the client is like, okay, I think it's okay, or I like it. And then the next morning, he or she sleeps and wake up and is like, I don't like it. Can you please change the entire layout? And you are like, okay, you're doing it. The third time, the person is like, can you please delete everything and start all over again? Yes, some clients can be a handful. So in order to avoid things like that, you need what we refer to, or what we call, a contract. So you have to have your contract document, you sign, and your client also sign. So I'm going to, if it's a logo I'm creating for you, or any design piece, I'm going to review it twice or thrice. That's to say, when I hand over the first copy to you, please take your time, go through it critically, and make all the necessary and relevant corrections, even if you cannot capture all, and send it back to me. So the person sends it back to you. You apply all the corrections, or you effect all the corrections, and then you send a copy back to your client, and the client goes through it and is like, okay, I think I kind of like this one, but then change this. You're doing it again. You send back to the client. When the client sends for the third time, now you have to refer the client back to your contract. Okay, you're coming for the third time. Please remember, based off the contract we have signed, this is supposed to be your last review, or my last review of this very design. So after this, I am not going to touch this design again. So please take your time, go through it, and make sure that you have noticed all the errors you want to notice, or you have changed your mind at any point in time when you feel you want to change your mind, before sending the final copy for me to edit, review, and then hand it over to you. So immediately that document is signed, the next thing you people need to work on is the design brief. And from the design brief, the designer is going to come up with different concepts, different ideas that will help inform, or different keywords, right, key terms in the design brief, or on the design brief, that will help inform his or her decision before he or she begins their design. So having said that, I will want us to end it here on this design brief. Hopefully from tomorrow, we're going to do less of talking and more of designing. I'll bring a design brief. We're going to pick out all the key things we need to pick out of it, and then we'll use the information we have picked out of it to create designs. That's what we'll be doing from tomorrow henceforth. However, if you have a question, please drop your question in the comment section so I can attend to it before we end the class, please. Is anyone lost? Anyone confused? You need clarity anywhere? Okay, so if there are no questions, can you please react? Let me be sure that we are together and nobody is lost, nobody is confused, so we can end the class. Okay. It's all right. Thank you very much for attending to today's class. I hope to see you tomorrow, same time on this very YouTube channel. Thank you. Good night.